Let's go over the diagramming of the UML, because this is a really nice visual tool for us to be able to see, to have a contract or an understanding of what a class is doing. So this is an example of a UML. And again, the term UML stands for, the acronym UML stands for Unified Modeling Language. And as I said, it's a tool that helps us see how these classes are supposed to be working. Let's look at this a little bit more detailed. So here we have an example. These are two classes. The first part of this box, these are two classes. This class is named Employee, and here's a class that's named Employee with Territory. And so the class is depicted in this box. And the top portion of this box, you can see that each box is segmented. So each class is segmented into a box, and the box is segmented into three distinct sections. And the top section is the class name. So here we have an employee class, and we have a class Employee with Territory. The middle box is for our fields or properties or attributes. And here you can see that employee has two fields or two attributes. One is ID, one is salary. And this Employee with Territory class has a territory field. You can see that they are separated with the colon, and then the next snippet of code, or the next well, obviously it's an int. So territory is an int, ID is an int, and salary is a double. The bottom section of each box, class box or depiction, is the methods. And so here you can see employee has get ID, get salary, so you can start to get the idea that these are the getters, here are your setters, and any other methods that are associated with employee would be in this box. Same thing here, get territory and set territory. So within the parentheses is the parameters. So this particular set ID is expecting to receive an int. And then the colon, what is this method returning? Well, this one's returning a void. This one's returning a void. Here, get territory is returning an int. So this gives you a clear idea of what methods are available, what you need to send to the method, and what you would expect to receive from the method. These minus and pluses are your access modifiers. So we can see that, even though we can't see the ID anymore, the minus sign indicates that this is private. These are private fields, which means, of course, that they're available only to this employee class. The plus indicates that this is a public, in this case, a public method. If it was in front of the field, it would be a public field. The plus indicates that, as I said, this is public. So you can see that all of these are public. Makes sense. They're getters and setters that are getting and setting, for example, territory. If there was a hashtag, the fields would be protected, and that's new to this chapter. And protected means that a private says that salary is available only to employee. It wouldn't be available outside of the class. In other words, employee with territory would not have access to this property. But since employee with territory is actually inheriting from employee, employee with territory should have access to salary, but somebody outside of employee or employee with territory shouldn't have access to it. So we're going to call this protected, and protected would have a hashtag in front of it. So if salary had a hashtag in front of it, salary would be available to employee, and salary would be available to whatever child inherited from employee, in this case, employee with territory. So minus is private, plus is public, hashtag would be protected. And then as I was indicating, this arrow indicates that employee with territory is a child of employee. Employee with territory is inheriting from the employee class, which means that employee with territory has access to all public or protected properties or methods that employee has. So that means that employee with territory based on this UML. Employee with territory is a child of employee. It has access to the get ID method, the get salary method, set ID, set salary, but it does not have access to the ID or the salary. The only way it has access to these particular properties is through the methods. So all of these methods are inherited. It is inheriting these properties as well, but it doesn't get to them unless it can go through the methods. So this is inheritance, and we'll look at that a little bit more in another video. So this is primarily discussing the UML and how we can read it and understand what's in the classes that we're using or trying to explain.